6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. Yeah, I got another game review for y'all. This is South Carolina versus Iowa. Let's get into it. So I enjoyed the game, and it was a great game for both sides. But the first quarter really just came to the Caitlin Clark show. She was virtually unstoppable to start this game. I think she started off with 8 of Iowa's first 10 points. Now, debatably, I think that push off on Bree Hall should have been an offensive foul, but it wasn't called, so we're not going to harp on that, and she knocked down the shot. So Caitlin Clark in Iowa really started off about as good as you could, possibly want to against the South Carolina team in that first quarter. Um, Moving on to that second quarter, man, CeeDee Lamb must have been in the crowd because Raven Johnson was playing her ass off defensively. She was really just keyed in on Caitlin Clark. I mean, over this season, watching Iowa games and seeing, their games, we never really seen Caitlin Clark just get ripped once, let alone twice. And one of those was a fast break layup from Raven Johnson. I think the other one she just set up um, the offense and slow the pace down. So, I mean, that's one thing that kudos to Raven Johnson for affecting the game in other ways. She struggled shooting tonight. I think she was 1 for 10. Her only points was probably from the line, but just facilitating and setting up the offense and really locking in on Caitlin Clark when, Bree Hall, who originally started off on her, got into some foul trouble. South Carolina as a team early on was all facing foul trouble. I think she had 2. Watkins had, I don't know. I think like 3 people from, or 3 women, my bad. 3 women from South Carolina had 2 fouls. So, when Raven was out there, she was just keyed in defensively. And I mean, Caitlin Clark is an amazing player. She's always going to get, every couple shots, she's going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's going to see something go down after a while. You know what I mean? So, Raven Johnson played phenomenal defense on Caitlin Clark. And I'm actually surprised that, I feel like partially that was a Don Staley adjustment and a move. And I like her awareness because that's one critique that I was giving of Kim Mulkey when LSU played Iowa, Caitlin Clark in Iowa, was that why is Haley Van Lith still on her? Let's try to switch out. Like, Caitlin Clark had a couple different people guarding her, whether that was just the adjustment by Don Staley because of foul trouble, or if that's, Camila Cardoza gets switched off on the screen. A couple times Camila Cardoza was out there and, Caitlin Clark shot over her 1 or 2 times. And, other times she had to swing because of Cardoza's length. So, a great adjustment by Don Staley, and props to her. And that is a nice set. She had on that Michael Jackson jacket. She was out there looking like prime Michael Jackson. That damn jacket on. That's a $6,000 Louis jacket. Shout out to Don Staley though. But yeah, like I was saying, it was interesting too to see in the second half when Bree Hall went back out there that she was on Caitlin Clark, because I was thinking, I really like the matchup. Raven is taking this personal from being waved off last year. So, I really like the defense that she's out there, the defensive effort, the defensive pressure, presence that she's giving out there. So for Bree Hall to be back on her, I didn't too much understand that, but it didn't really do too much for it wasn't a negative, I guess you could say. It didn't deteriorate too much from the lead that South Carolina had built, I guess we could say. And then the third quarter was, Iowa was really cutting it close. And we have to give props. I don't think she gets enough props. Hannah Stokey from Iowa, the big, she needs to get her just due. Last year was a freshman and only had played, like they said, she barely played in last year's national championship against LSU. But to come out this year, she put it out an amazing. And I mean, all of the Iowa women, like Iowa really this year, as much as the talk is around Caitlin Clark, them as a team, they're all, very, very impressive, and they're nothing to play with. They have shooters, Katie, Gabby, and interior forces down low like Hannah Stokey. So props to, and especially props to Hannah Stokey, because a lot of the time she was, making Camila Cardozo finish throughout contact, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it was a travel, sometimes Camila Cardozo had missed. So Hannah Stokey really did her thing, and even offensively, just allowing and trusting her guards in the offense, setting nice, good screens and rolling off and, finishing through contact, finishing these layups, finishing over height from, those South Carolina bigs. So props to Hannah Stokey. And Iowa just, they really pushed the pace. In the third quarter, it was just a little bit messy. The third, or also, before I say what I was about to say in the third quarter, like back to the second quarter, two people, I keep saying people, I'm so sorry, that's so disrespectful. Two women for South Carolina just really did it for them offensively, and it wasn't who you were thinking, because the game plan you could obviously see was to feed Cardozo inside, but it looked like Iowa was in a zone, or they were playing, really low man so that we can help Stokey down low or any other big who decides to come in, because, we're not going to allow Camila Cardozo to just be one-on-one, and use her height, use her physicality to her advantage. But two women who really did it for South Carolina in that second quarter, and even some of the third, was those two freshmen. Props to Malaysia Fulwiley. I love her pace. One thing I wish about her is sometimes just the flashiness. I mean, that's her game. That's how it is. When you play, and I'm not, I don't know her story or anything, but I could just tell from her from the way she dribbles. When you play street ball, and you grow up playing street ball and pickup ball and shit like that, sometimes you really can't help it. Like, I find myself doing some shit I probably am not supposed to do, some fancy, flashy shit, when it's like, nigga, just, keep it simple. So, but other than that, Malaysia Fulwiley's a fucking bucket. Man, she is a beast. I just wish a lot of the time she would calm down on the flashiness or the fanciness, because it was I forget if it was a run in the third quarter or the second quarter, but South Carolina was starting to go on like a 6-0, 8-0 run, I guess, and they got another steal, and Malaysia took it, and she went around the back and just threw it off the backboard. And I was like, if you had just went through her and tried to finish through contact, maybe get a foul, that would have been better, and you could maybe get to the line or have a higher chance of winning it than, an off-balance kind of fancy, flashy thing. But props to Malaysia. She's a champion now, and, I respect her game to the utmost, and she'll be back next year for South Carolina, and she'll have a bigger responsibility than she did this year, of course. And then the other freshman, Tessa Johnson. Man, Tessa Johnson looked like she was not scared of the moment. She was not afraid. You couldn't tell. If this was your first college basketball game that you watch, you would not assume, unless they announced it or unless you looked it up, that Tessa Johnson was a freshman, because she looked like she had been here before. Tessa Johnson, my God, have yourself a game. Tessa Johnson, I'm from wherever you wanted it. On the perimeter, okay. Mid-range pull-up, defender slips, mid-range pull-up, okay. Tessa Johnson played absolutely phenomenal. She looked like she was ready for the moment. So the fourth quarter really just came down to, as much as Iowa kept clawing and chewing back, it just seemed like they were fatigued in terms of, like, they couldn't match South Carolina's physicality. And the fourth quarter, that's really, in my opinion, what it came down to. Like, yeah, everyone was hitting shots. South Carolina was doing them. Iowa was doing it. But it really just came down to that physicality on the glass. A lot of the times you've seen, it's a missed shot from South Carolina. Iowa, we got to get a board here. Oh no, Camila Cardozo, gets through two women, gets through three or four women to get a board and put it back up. You know what I'm saying? Even the third quarter, I forgot to mention her as well, not Camila Cardozo. The third quarter, to start it off, Chloe Kitts, shout out to Chloe Kitts. She really talked her shit in the beginning of the third quarter, and really gave South Carolina that offensive start that they really needed. And the fourth quarter came to her and Camila Cardozo both really just clashing. Really, well, that too. Well, crashing the offensive glass. Okay, oh well, we would miss a three. Oh, Camila Cardozo somehow finds her way around or through those Iowa players. And oh, we miss a shot. Oh, Chloe Kitts somehow gets a board and maneuvers around or through those Iowa players. So great game from Chloe Kitts, great game from Camila Cardozo. But yeah, that's really what the fourth quarter came down to, is just who wanted it more, and it was just the physicality in the interior. So yeah, great. Nigga said great game. Great game from both teams. I'm really sad that this season has to come to an end. But you guys know we'll be back here next season for men and women. The men's national championship is tomorrow between Purdue and UConn. Who do I think is going to win? I don't know. It depends on how UConn plays. I honestly think, and I'll tell y'all, because I come on this channel and I never lie to you. I can literally tell you always, this is how I feel in this moment or whatever. This is what I said and I was wrong. Y'all, I feel like, honestly, I thought Purdue was going to lose a lot earlier. I'm going to be real with you. After Utah State, I thought Purdue was done. I knew Grambling, shout out to HBCUs and Grambling. I knew Grambling didn't really stand a chance, respectfully. But when it came to Utah State, I was like, they maybe could beat him. They have a 5-man who can knock down a three and can do his thing on the perimeter. Has a decent perimeter jump shot to bring Zach Edey out the paint, which is really a huge key if you even want a chance at beating Purdue, is you can't let, a 7'4" nigga just sit there. But Utah State, very undisciplined and got into foul trouble. And then on the offensive end, really just a lot of quick possessions without moving the ball and just taking a lot of useless shots. Then it was Tennessee. Tennessee stuck there. I forget who it was after Tennessee. It looked like NC State. I don't know. So I don't know. It depends on how UConn goes out there and play. If they play as defensively consistent as they've played in like Illinois and these previous games, then they definitely have a chance. If not, Purdue's going to go by a landslide. So I'm not sure. But like I said, I'm getting off topic and I'm talking about men's, and this is about the women, and I don't want to take away these women's moments. So congrats to South Carolina as a team. Great season. Congrats to Dawn Staley and her coaching staff, and the managers, everyone a part of, that organization. And congrats to Iowa and everyone who's a part of that organization, not just Caitlin Clark, coaching staff, and the other players. The other players stepped up, and they really shut down a lot of the talk about Caitlin not having help. They really did their thing this year and proved a lot of people wrong. A lot of people thought it was over at LSU before the LSU game in the Elite Eight. And I said, I don't know. And they was like, well, no, because last year. And I'm like, last year is last year. And that's what people fail to understand. It's hard. Although you see a UConn, and I hate to bring it back to the men's after I said I wasn't about to ruin these women's moment. You think about UConn and they're back in a championship game, and they were here last year. That's not easy to do. Props to Dan Hurley and those guys, for even being able to be in this position and the work that they did in the offseason to get there. But like I was saying, people thought it was over for Iowa in the Elite Eight against LSU, and they proved them wrong. Afterwards, they surely thought, everyone surely thought UConn, they're not going to be able to beat Paige Beckers and Nika Mule and Aaliyah Edwards. And that UConn team is just full of just so much talent. And Iowa ended up proving them wrong. Iowa wins that game. So, they did a lot more than people thought that they would. I'm going to be real with you. I thought that they'd be LSU, but I didn't think they was going to be UConn. I could tell you I was wrong. Y'all know me. I never come on here and lie. It's no reason to do that. But anyway, that's it. Congrats to both those teams. I love what all of the women are doing. Just their competitive nature. Caitlin Clark's a competitor. Bree Hall's a competitor. She Although she was in foul trouble, she got going in the second half. She's a competitor. All of those women are competitors. Raven Johnson's a competitor. Camila Cardozo's a competitor. Gabby Marshall's a competitor. You know, Hannah Stokely is a fucking competitor. Hannah Stokey, not Stokely. I'm sorry, mama. She's a competitor. Like, I love just the competitive nature that all of these women have each and every time that they step onto the court. And that's why I watch both men and women basketball, because, you know, regardless of what a lot of these misogynistic niggas would like to say, women bring it a lot of the times more than men. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these niggas go on and it's just an offensive game and you don't see any defense. And they're just, you know, they take pride in offense and getting in a bag and getting a bucket. But when it's time to play defense, they not locked into the rotation. Not college. That's why I watch college. A lot of people ask me why I only watch college. I used to watch the NBA, but I'm not really too interested as I used to be. And it's actually switched. When I was a kid, I liked NBA, but now that I'm older, I really like college, because I really like people appreciating and trying their hardest on both sides of the ball. Not us acting like we don't know how to defensively rotate. Not us acting like we don't know the rules of help. Like, that shit's lame to me. So I really love the women's game. And like I said, I'll be back next season, y'all. If there's some transfer moves, you see I did a Hailey Van Lith transfer portal video, which why that has as many views as it does, I'm not sure. Why that has as much viewership as it does, I don't know. That's literally why I made this channel, is so that no one can find it, and no one can find these videos. But hey, I guess I won't complain about engagement, and I love y'all. But yeah, I made a Hailey Van Lith transfer portal video, a Georgia Amoore transfer portal video. Go check those out if you haven't. So I'll be here definitely in the off season if I hear about some moves and stuff. So, like I said, congrats to South Carolina. Great season by Iowa. And, you know, those women are about to, you know, the women who are declaring for the draft, Camila Cardozo, like Caitlin Clark, they're going to do it at the next level, you know, do it big for the WNBA. So, yeah, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share this to the team, share this to your friends. I don't give a fuck, I'm out.